What does I Am Roots stand for? Because I don't think enough people know what it stands for.
Yeah. Man, it's a really, to me at least, it's a diverse thing. It's an evolving thing, but more so than anything else, it's about like individuals who have dreams or aspirations or goals. It's for those individuals to kind of work under like a mantra, like this thing that lets them know that like it takes you to fulfill those dreams. You know, you have to be that centerpiece for your goals, your dreams, or just your everyday life. Like if you want change, if you want different reality, you know, you have to be the root. You have to be the foundation for that change. It doesn't start with like your neighbor. It doesn't start with like some guy giving you a music contract. It starts with you. You know, you have to make the decision to change your life. So that's kind of it in the gist, and I allow for people to kind of adopt it and apply it to their life. You know, some people say it reminds them of like being grounded and like, you know, firm and firm in the foundation type of deal. So I'm cool with that too. I just like for people to kind of take this message and let it apply to their life in a way that really works. But at the core of it, it's about the individual. It's about the person and their story and their journey. And as their plant grows, they have to be the root, you know, to make sure that it all goes down well.
And where is Dom Roots roots?
My roots, man, are culturally for sure. They're Belize and Jamaica. My mom's and my pops and stuff like that. But more so than anything, my roots are just in like community. I think that it's something to be said about just like surrounding yourself around individuals who want to be better, who see themselves doing better, and then if you can posit something to that like journey, then that's great. You know, so I'm really like rooted in just like being around like an environment or being around a community of people who just want to make like, you know, want to evolve, want to see change, and want to be a part of like what that looks like going forward.
And so is I Am Root part of your change so that you can see the world change?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's like my little token in the bucket, if you will. You know, it's not going to be the biggest change that the world will ever see, but in terms of like what I'm willing to posit or what I at least think can be a good foundation for starting that, it definitely is, you know, because it's something that will allow for people to be able to see within themselves like what it takes to be successful, what it takes to achieve those goals and to like work hard and then create other foundations like within this for them to be able to show others how to do that same thing, how to find out, you know, what works for them, and then how to build on that and show other people how to build on it the same way. So it's just kind of like this reoccurring thing that I want to be able to create and provide for like myself, my friends, and then the community at large.
Okay. How old were you and emotionally where were you when you came up with the root?
Man, I was 16. Emotionally, dude, I was just like, I don't know, I was hungry, man. I was playing football. Like, at that point, man, I played football since 4 years old. So that's just like every year, flag football on up, Pop Warner. Just like, I was thinking that was it for me. You know, it's like, all right, cool, I'm gonna go to college on some scholarship, like get that bread from them. And then from there, man, just get on this conveyor belt and like go to the league possibly or do whatever. But like I went to a school and our football team, we was 0-40. Varsity lost every game for 4 years straight. So I realized like somewhere in between there that like that wasn't gonna be my way out. Nobody was checking for me or like anybody for that matter coming out of that institution. So I had to realize like it's not about, you know, it's not about kind of this like dream that I had made up in my mind that was going to happen. You know, I didn't really look into the reality and the numbers of how many people actually make it. I'm just like this young kid, like just trying to play football and do this thing in LA. So I don't know. I hit this point, dude, where I woke up and I'm like, yo, this squad sucks. Like I don't think that this is like something that's real for me. So I just thought of this like, you know, what is it going to take? You know, I'm in South Central LA. It's like not too many options, but I know for sure that like I'm not gonna fail, you know. Like I was the only like male grandchild on my father's side, so I have a whole bunch of little girl cousins to like, you know, set an example for, to like provide for. All of my uncles and stuff, they hustle, they get it, you know, they do what they do in the streets and make it work. But I knew for sure that wasn't gonna be like, that wasn't gonna be it for me. It's like, all right, for sure, I know I can do that. Like hustling is in my blood, but I at least want to be able to posit something like on a grander scale that people can say like, damn, Dom really like, he really went out there, he chased his dreams, he he created opportunities not only for himself but for other people. So I don't know. At that point, 16, man, I'm just like trying to figure out how to make a mark, and Iron Root was that mark. So it was just like this motto that I went by. I'm like, man, I can't expect the coaches or somebody to get me a scholarship or to get me to that next level. It has to be me. I have to put the I into that equation and like put that effort in, and really pay attention in school and like focus on what that next step was for me. So yeah, at 16, I was just really just thinking about what my next steps were, what my legacy was going to be, and I started with that little motto to get me through high school, which was I am Root.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what does the motto stand for?
The motto, I am Root. So when we break that down, it's like an acronym. It's inspiring all of mankind by restoring often omitted traditions. So, how that works for me is like, the brand at least, we want to continue to inspire and also be inspired. Like there's tons of culture that exists way before we got here, and we're inspired by that culture. But we have ideas about how to make it like progress and how to kind of advance where we are now and kind of make it a more fitting place for like everybody to kind of do their thing. So we want to continue to inspire other individuals to, create and step up and do these different things. And as far as these traditions go, it's just like, traditions like community or like just understanding like, what it takes to build a community and just the important things that are necessary for the evolution of like mankind that we should just kind of focus on. Those axioms that don't necessarily get discussed, we want to kind of bring those back into the equation. And really just posit some thought-provoking things. It's not like everything in this world is going to be, let's say, flowers and butterflies, but we at least want to advance the conversation, about the demons or the dark sides that, we avoid talking about because we don't get to reach a resolution if we don't. So we want to inspire and we want to push the envelope as far as like what's being done. Who's to say a philosopher can't pick up a camera and become a journalist, or who's to say that I, as a producer, can't go on and do, so we have to talk about these boundaries and what they really mean and kind of what they're actually doing to society, so.
And then what are the boundaries that you see on society?
Man, in a lot of ways, I just feel like it's weird, in a lot of ways, I feel like we're starting to realize that it's a lot less boundaries actually, but the way it's set up is like in order to be successful or in order to appear as this legitimate thing, you have to be good at one thing, kind of be a master of one, not a jack of all trades type of person, and just have everything kind of scheduled out. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go here, and then I'm gonna get a job here, and then I'm gonna work here for 15 years, and then you got this whole like grander like plan, which is great. A lot of people do have that, and that's fine. But in terms of like creativity, when you think of music, it's like growing up. Yeah, I wanted to like do music insofar as either producing or like rapping or something. But as you get older, you realize like, man, there's A&Rs. There's different executive positions that you can hold within a label. There's different lanes that you can step in that keeps you around music, that keeps you around the art form that beforehand we looked at as like a boundary. It's like, oh, you want to be a rapper or you want to be like a producer, you're kind of limited and people look at you a certain way. So a lot of the time coming up, I used to just tell individuals, I want to go to law school. I used to just put up this little kind of wall to tell people I wanted to be this something else while I'm working on like this other thing. And around the time like the whole I am Root thing came, it was just like time for me to like put a lot of that away and say, yeah, you know what, I am passionate about music, I'm passionate about rapping and like doing poetry and like creating and this whole artistic thing and kind of putting that at the forefront. So the boundaries really were just like kind of fear. Fear is like a huge boundary that we all face insofar as just like not wanting to come off like not legitimate. Sure, I mean, I was young, but being like the oldest like grandchild, I want to feel like, yo, I'm on my right path. I'm doing things the right way. So beyond fear, I think another one is just, I don't know, fear is the biggest one. I don't know if I want to like leave that one in terms of just like boundaries because it just breaks off into so many different things. We psych ourselves out of things. We psych other people out of things because of, how we make it seem, it's just, yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave it at that. The whole fear thing is like one of the biggest boundaries that I think that we face.
Absolutely. And is that one of the boundaries that you find yourself running into a lot?
Definitely. For me,
what's a technique you use to get over it? as you answer the question.
Yeah, fear is definitely something that I deal with often. You know, it's just because I don't know. There's no blueprint to this. You know, there's no like. I can't say that every move I make is going to be the right move. So I'm fearful that one that isn't right could be like really really bad for me. And that's not like. I mean, that's on like a small scale, like music or just whatever. I'm really hard on myself in terms of that. So, like, I want to be great. You know, I want to continue to produce great works. But as I move about, like, I study the culture and I just like, you know, I notice a lot of different things around. And when I look at my music or when I look at the things that I produce and I create, I just get really hard on myself. Like, yo, you're not ready for these lights. Like, you know, like, there's people really out here doing this, like, in terms of poetry and spoken word. There are a lot of people that I respect, but you know, I've been writing for years, and even though I still feel like I have a lot, you know, a lot further to go, a lot more that I need to be doing. So a lot of my fears come from like literally my own self. Like that's why this I am root thing is like a really important thing to bring home because like the answers that I need, I don't have to go anywhere else to get them. They're right here. I just have to, you know, ask myself the questions and let it respond. It's conversations that we've had in the past, you know, often that kind of helped me navigate that as well. Like getting through the whole fear thing is just, at some point, you just have to let it go and put it out there into the world and, you know, just let your talents speak for themselves. And not everything is going to be dope, you know what I'm saying? But you learn from those things and then you make them better. You know, you recreate them or you just create better versions of those same things. So in terms of that, man, I just like let other people check out my work too. I'm like, yo, I let, you know, different music artists listen to my beats or different music concepts that I have, and I get affirmation through those responses. Like if they can come up with a verse or if they got these little ideas spinning off of something that I created, then it helps me kind of relax a bit. Like, all right, man, you don't got to be afraid to put that out, or you don't got to be afraid to create your best work because it is good. And often that's what it's around. It's just about, man, is this good enough? That's a question I often ask myself about like the work that I'm creating.
And so, asking yourself if this is good enough and then referring to other people is something that you use to get over fear. Um, would you say that you're a successful person when it comes down to your fight with fear?
As much as like the next person, man, I'm not sure that I'm like the best at it. You know, I still have them. You know, when I wake up, I still experience a bit of anxiety, but you know, the show must go on. Like I can't sit here and like lock myself in the room because of it. But I've gotten all right at it. You know what I'm saying? Like I just get through those moments. Like it's not that the fear decides like what I'm gonna do ultimately, because like I've already I've already made my claim. I am this thing. I am Dom. You know what I'm saying? I produce music. I write poetry. And I'm out here for those things. So as I move about, you know, I'm going to have like different reluctancies about different things that I create. But as long as I like check those things at the door and then just hit those marks, let a couple of people hear it, you know, test the waters a bit, and then just be honest with myself, I think that most often I'm successful at like getting through it.
That's awesome. And so, which one of your family members would you say would be most proud of you given your current state of being?
Uh, Probably my mother. My mother is probably the most proud of me. More so because she says it the most, like, you know, and that's just what I take it for. I'm sure a lot of people are proud, but like she literally tells me that all the time, you know, and I'm even hard on myself in those moments. I got to be honest, like, you know, she gives me so much love and like, yo, you did it, like, you know, from selling candy to like, you know, just this guy that people respect and are wanting to be around and like, you know, participate in this little thing that's going on. Like she's in LA, so she doesn't really like all the way understand it or see it on the ground level, but she at least can understand the person that I've become, like the way that I talk, the way that I move, you know, and how my mind kind of works and operates. So yeah, definitely moms.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is there any other family members you'd like to give a shout out to?
Oh man, I wish that we had enough time for that.
Oh, that's
But
a great answer.
man, but I at least want to hit my main three, which is my mother, my auntie Mia, and my grandma Gwen. Like throughout high school and a lot of like my coming up, man, they were just the most pivotal women in my life. Like, so if you want to know why my love poems sound the way they do, it's just because like, you know, those women gave me so much love and like so much care and appreciation and they help mold me into who I am. So when I write and I create, I just have like a combination of all these really strong and powerful women like that have impacted my life. And yeah, so those three are the main three, and it disperses from there. Everybody knows who they are, that I love them, and that we just out here grinding really for the family and 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 for everybody really who has like a similar like upbringing, like in LA or any like inner city neighborhood, really like we all have like similar relatives. Like we all got that auntie, we all got that cousin, like we got those people in our lives that make it all worthwhile. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this is what this is about for sure.
So you have tattoos. Which one of your family members was most happy and which one was most disappointed?
My mother was probably the most, I don't know, most happy, but she was the most supportive. She went with me. She got a tattoo that same day.
Oh.
Like it was lit, bro. Like it was cool. Like her thing was just like, yo, what are you getting a tattoo for? And at that time I was young, so I was just writing up descriptions like, yo, this means this and it connects in this way. And she was just so excited that I put thought into it, and it wasn't just something that I was like wanting for a time being. So she was with it, man. She went down there and got a tat for me. Now the person who was like the least happiest was my great grandmother. Yeah, she was not with it. I got dreads and tattoos and those were the things she was not with. She just said I looked disgusting. And then the dreads, she wasn't happy about the dreads, but it's all good.
Yeah. And how do you like your dreads, and which one's your favorite tattoo?
Oh man, I love my dreads, man. I put them in like right when I graduated high school, 2010, and I maintain them myself. My mom taught me a little trick, and I keep them up myself. It saves me so much money. Like I don't got to go to the hair salon and like do all of that, so it's cool. And you said the favorite tattoo?
Yeah.
Man, that's a good question. It's probably the one I have on my chest, and it's like a paragraph.
You gotta take your shirt off in the middle of this restaurant.
Huh?
You gotta take your shirt off in the middle of this restaurant.
All right, just top it off. Yeah. But it says, I am not the great people before me. I am who I am. I cannot make their legacies any greater nor any worse. 1992 is when I began to write my story, and the end will tell itself. So like to me, that just symbolizes, I am my own individual. It's like, much respect to like MLK and Marcus Garvey and like just like the plethora of individuals who laid the foundation for like me being who I am. But I don't want to make my life out to be like to chase those ghosts. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like if I was a basketball player, I wouldn't want to have to chase Jordan and Kobe and LeBron. Like that's too much to think about. I want to be the greatest individual that I can be for myself, and then let that just be the story about me. It's just like Dom was an individual, and here's his track record, and here's what he did in the community, here's just what he did in the professional realm and in his life.
So does Dom like Dom?
Does Dom like Dom? Yes. I love myself, man. A lot, I'm the hardest on myself because I do love myself, and I know what I feel that I can do. It's like as a writer, as a producer, you go so hard, you put so many hours in to like be the best that you can be, and then sometimes when the lights are on and you don't do as well, it's like you're tough on yourself. But it's like you understand, the amount of work that you put in, you understand how much you care about it. So I love myself for sure. I just need to, just like get that to come around a bit in terms of just like on stage, that confidence, like that love and that feel that I have for myself when I'm not on stage. I need that to show up for me, when the lights are on more often.
I have that same problem. So what's some advice you got for me for that? Since you're
Man,
working on it.
I've been working through it, man. I've gotten some really interesting advice from people. One person told me like years ago, like, yo, practice all of your poems like butt ass naked in the mirror. Like, you know what I'm saying? From beginning to end, like, but I don't know what works for me, man. I just like, I used to think, all right, let me drink a little bit before and that'll calm me down. Nah, like, I think, what's some good advice, man? I don't know. Like,
Still
just take it like, it's still figuring it out. I know it takes a lot of patience, and just like kind of something that can relax you in that moment. Like, I don't know how to get into that mode, but like in football, it was easy. Like, for some reason on that field, I played tight end and I played outside linebacker. So a lot of the time, like an outside linebacker, it's just like, man, like right before the snap, a lot of that you can just like find this kind of like zone, and in that moment between the whistles, like you don't know what happened. Like, you just, I was here and I darted over there. So like on stage, I just need to get into this like headspace that allows for me to kind of feel like I'm doing kung fu, like, that I'm just like serving up like what I really have. It's not like I don't have the content memorized. It's just about like the presentation of it and like how I feel in the moment that I'm delivering it. So that's a combination of things, but yep, once I find out, man, I'll definitely run that by you so we can have some dialogue on just like, that and how that works for you and how it works for me even, because it's still something that, we've done plenty of shows since 2013 and I've performed at all of them, but, I've seen the progress over time, but it's still like after each show, it's just like, man, I could have did it again and did it better if this, so.
So you're still growing.
Yeah, for sure.
Where are other places that Dom is growing?
Man, I'm growing in a lot of places, dude. Especially in the patience department, just because, like, any individual who's just been like grinding and like working hard for a period of time, you start to get anxious. It's just like, I want to see results. And, people come out to the events or they come out and see me perform, give really good feedback. Like, oh man, this was great. But like, because it's been so long, it's just like, for some reason my brain is telling me like to expect more, to want more, to kind of not settle for less, or just like to kind of be too complacent in this time, is to kind of push the envelope and see like what I can get out of it and how hard I can go and how hard I can get others to go for their dreams as well. So you might have to run that question back by me again, because I was like going on too long about.
Yeah, no. The question's, where are you still growing?
So yeah. In that space, it's like the patience department for sure, in terms of just letting God kind of handle things and just let them play out and giving them time to develop. Man, I'm growing also as a business owner, you know what I'm saying? Understanding like just the operations of it all, and kind of how to let people in. Like, that's like a difficult thing. It's just like you create this thing, you feel like it's your baby, you become so attached to it. And then as you go about, you build relationships with people and you introduce people to different things. And not all relationships are good ones. They ups and downs, things fizz off. But, it's just about, in those moments, still being able to bounce back from those and allow other people in, and experience growth from that. So yeah, just, man, trying to get better at this whole patience thing, and as like a business owner, as a communicator especially, so that people feel like they understand me, or feel like they understand my intentions when I speak. Yeah, I would say those three.
What would be something that you would say that anyone wants to approach Dom? What's like a heuristic or like an axiom, right? Like a just general thumb to like approach you. Like how can they understand you just a little bit better?
How could they understand me a bit better? I'm more than likely almost always in a good mood. Like, no matter what my face is telling you, I'm pretty sure that I'm in a good mood. I'm just in some kind of thought. Like, a lot of people come up to me and they're just like, yo, like, what's wrong? Are you good? Like, or I've gotten like the non-approachable kind of spiel before, but most often I just be chilling, man. Like, I'm really chill. I'm willing to expand in dialogue, but I don't often like exert myself like to go speak or to start that conversation or like to kick it off, because I don't know, man, there's a lot of stuff going on in this thing, so it's just like, having to participate in like that, like the human interaction thing, is I'm growing in that department too. It's just like socializing and all that stuff, but I would love to, it's just, yeah, just that, like, I'm definitely approachable, what I'm saying? I'm definitely in a good mood most often.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And where are we trying to go from here? Like, what does a year from now look like, and then what's 10 years look like?
For Dominique?
Dominique, I am Root, all of it.
Yeah.
Dom Root. Every level of it.
Yeah, for Dom, I'm just like really trying to perfect this music thing and the sound design part of it in terms of just like making really good music and music that's gonna last, like timeless kind of jams that are gonna be at the family barbecues that us like as parents are gonna play music as we clean the house, like just things that are gonna stand the test of time. So figuring that formula out, working with as many artists as I can, and helping them produce, really good music, music for film, um, all of that. Like just diving way more deep into the music scene. Like I don't want to take no more pictures. Like what I'm saying. Sometimes you see me running around with the camera. Like way more, like way less of that. Like I'm just really trying to like lock in my sound musically, because I've been doing it for years, but like when you listen to like if you listen to 10 of my beats, they'll sound like way different. And it's just like you would think at least 4 different producers made this set of 10. But no, it was just me. So just kind of really paying a lot more attention to what I want to make musically for Dom and finish up this album, Late Night Radio, and get that out. Now, as far as like the brand and stuff, we want to grow these shows, like these events, like and kind of bring back that vibe that was popular when we were doing like the Newton, where everything was kind of dressy and like fly and real suede, like just to kind of because that was our niche, if you will, So just kind of customizing and growing and kind of rebranding and expanding what we have here with Iron Root as like the individuals within the collective begin to like grow and like figure out a lot more about like what they want to do with like their specific genres and platforms. And I kind of want to be able to take that information and then apply that to the grander message of what we're doing with Iron Root, because as the group moves, I want the brand to move too. So, but I still want us to be aligned and connected and on the same page. But we want to get into larger venues. We right now we're in the 300 capacity spots, and we want to crack into the 1,000 club. You know what I'm saying, and just really grow this and cement it as something that the culture feels like it needs. You know what I'm saying, in order to like to expand. It's like, yo, we need an Iron Root, we need a this, we need a that. So I want to be a part of what people need, in their daily lives, and especially for entertainment. We want to get into more schools over the next year for sure. Work a lot more with a lot of nonprofits that we have out here in Phoenix to be able to connect with like other teaching artists and other youth, like underprivileged youth or just youth in general who feel like I want to get into art. I want to do some poetry, I want to paint, I want to dance, I want to rap, I want to make beats. Just help these people kind of funnel these ideas and kind of balance the same things that any artist balances. We have fears, we have different reluctancies as to why we don't go as hard for our dreams. So I want this brand to continue to be a vessel to help individuals go from non-artist to artist, and non-creative to creative, because it's just a small step, and we put that left foot in front of the right foot, and we'll be closer to our dream before you know it, but it's just kind of keeping this foundation that we have in place and figuring out how to make it better for these next 10 years for sure. It's hard to say what to expect in 10 years, man, because like technology changes, man, trends and fads and how people consume content is just gonna continually evolve. So I know I want to be ahead of the curve, but just still figuring that out and like growing as a businessman for sure.
Awesome. And so, as a businessman, where do you think Iron Root plays in the business world itself?
That's a good question. I think that it plays into kind of empowering artists to look at that, to look at the business side of their art and to go from like, oh, I can do this for fun to, oh, I can probably do this forever.
What's the first poem you ever wrote?
Dang, that's crazy. It was like 7th grade. I don't remember what it was, but my English teacher had us like write this like we have to make like a poetry project, So at that time, I was like into music a little bit. So I tried to make like a CD, and I just put like I put a blank CD into a CD case and made like the cover art for it, and then like a little flip book. So in the flip book, it was like a couple of poems. I'm pretty sure it was like love stuff.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
And is your stuff still about love stuff?
My poetry today.
Yeah.
Not so much, man, because I realize how difficult that is while being in a relationship, man. You know, because it's like you become this like fantasist, like you know, it's like oh, you talk about the most beautiful parts of love and how you share your soul with someone, and then when you're actually in a relationship with someone, they're looking at you like, yo, I don't see that motherfucker that you write about. So it's a little difficult, you know, kind of to like navigate that terrain. So a lot of what I do is more empowering and like, you know, it's just like, yo, look at life this way and kind of look at it this way and just kind of offering perspective, you know.
And how should we look at life?
Man, I'm really optimistic. I enjoy being optimistic. Though, like in specific moments, I may feel like, or I may sound like a pessimist or something. But I'm really optimistic, to be honest, man. I'm just like, you know, I don't take everything too seriously. I understand that we only have so much time here on this planet, you know. So what we do with the time that we have is really important. You know, the people that we impact, the lessons we learn. It's like a lot of stuff that we can get accomplished in this little bit of time that we have. And there's a lot of beauty in this life too. So it's just like I try to look at the glass, you know, as more so half full. Like, yo, this is some pretty cool shit that we have surrounding us if we take the time to actually enjoy it. But we're so caught up on like, oh, what annoys us or where the errors are in the sentence that we can't really enjoy the fucking paragraph, you know? So I think looking at it that way just really helps me out a lot.
Absolutely. And what's some way that you think that would help other people to look at it right? Like maybe that you have things that for yourself that work and get you through the day, but you know you're kind of an observant person and you're very quiet. And so, what's that thing you've seen people kind of like constantly like fail at? Like you see them hitting their head against the wall and you want them to stop, but they're like, what is that?
I don't know, man. I don't want to sound like a guru or anything, but a lot of the times I think people care a bit too much. Like in certain times, I just see like a lot of uproar, or at least it's like perceived uproar. It's like, you know, people feel so passionately all the time about something. Like, you know, it's just like this thing that grinds my gears and it won't let me evolve past it. Like, you know, so but I don't want to say that my ability to not do that thing is like my rightness, you know. That might be me compressing my feelings, and that might be to a psychologist like the wrong thing to do, you know. So I don't necessarily want to say that, but I just try to remain way more calm, like, and just like reserved about like things, even if they bother me, you know. It's like, all right, I'm bothered, now what though, you know. It's just like I can do a number of things, but the outcome is still the same. I'm bothered, you know, and I need to not be bothered. So I become, over time, like a master diffuser. You know, it's just like about figuring out the best ways to extinguish whatever it is, like how I feel about something, or even how another, like, cause like, you know, I realize that people are just people, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people are going to F up, like, and mess up bad. Is it my place all the time to like check them on it? You know, sometimes it is though, and you know when it is, I'll take that opportunity. But more so, I just like allow that person to experience their human like experiences. Like it's like go through that, you know. But you know, if I feel disrespected or if I feel anything like beyond that, it's going to get addressed. But if I think that it's something that can be swept under a rug, I'm more than likely going to sweep it under the rug for the sake of just like, you know, the sport. It's just like I don't need to be going there, and I know that individual, given their best state of mind, they wouldn't want that to happen either. So, you know.
Yeah, and I just got distracted by the lady to the right. And you have a lady for yourself, Miss Jade.
Yeah.
And how did you and Miss Jade meet? Given that I was just distracted by some ladies.
Oh yeah.
And Dom passed the test, everybody. You can see it on the camera.
Oh yeah, she knows what's up. Social media, man. I think Facebook, like a long time ago, dude.
Oh yeah, at the beginning, before like the comment books filled up or the DMs.
Yeah. I think Jade slid up in my DMs, you know.
Oh snap.
Yeah, it was a wrap.
Yep. That's awesome. So she knew what she wanted. That seems like Jade.
Huh? Yeah, she definitely knows what she wants. Like, even if I don't, she does. Like,
Oh, that's awesome. You're a lucky man on that
yeah,
one.
appreciate that.
And so does it help you, like, having a woman like that behind your back a little bit as a man?
Yeah, I would say so, man. I would say that I thoroughly enjoy it. I mean, it's something to get used to. It's not like the easiest thing in the world, but when I look at the big picture, I think that for sure, like, it's a necessary thing. Like, just in terms of like compatibility, or when you just think of like the little nuances, like the shit I forget, she remembers. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. It just works. Like things that she may forget to do, I remember. It kind of works in that like back and forth kind of thing. Like when it's showtime and I'm loading the car up, it's just like, yo, did you get the? And it's like, oh shit, I forgot that. Thank you so much. Boom, and it works. So in that sense, it does. It really helps. And I mean, those are just little things that I'm pointing out. But to keep it, you know, kind of in that same ballpark, it for sure is something that's beneficial. I enjoy it.
That's awesome. And so we're getting close to the interview.
Yeah,
So what would be the words you have for the people?
yeah. Just for the people in general, man, so many. But I think more so, it's about being honest, like being honest with yourself, and looking to like make changes within yourself before you look to make changes outward. Like that's also what this whole I am Root thing is about. Because like we're all artists and creatives of some sort, and we have this thing that we want to do. Like we all, like if you talk to each individual within the collective, they'll give you their story about like, yo, this is what I'm trying to do, and here's my skill sets. But more so than it is about like what we're actually able to do, it's about how we feel about ourselves inside, and whether or not we feel that we can do it, or are we doubting ourselves, or are we not the persons that are we the individuals we actually say we are, when we go out into the world and like create and do these things. So it's about just mastering the individual, and then using that information learned throughout that journey to be able to kind of impact the world around you. It's kind of like a weird thing, I guess, because like so much of our life is spent just focused on like receiving. It's just like growing up, I went through so many just like programs as far as like leadership programs, ambassador programs, and I'm like getting all this information on how to impact like the world. It's like go out into the community, customer service, do all of this stuff. But in all of that, the whole leadership thing, they're showing me how to lead people, but they're not showing me how to lead myself. Like as like this individual dealing with all of these different factors, how do I cope? How do I get through? How do I get by? So I think that's an important thing, is just like, loving yourself, and also looking to change, the things internally before you look to change them externally.
That's awesome. And
Yeah.
this is the new thing that I'm going to start doing. I've only done 2 other interviews before this, so it's not like it's that new. What's something Dom wants to say to his future self?
It's actually a funny thing that I would say, and it's, you ain't shit. If I'm looking at this in the future and I'm where I think that I'm gonna be, I still want myself to know that it's a lot more work to be done, like for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate that,
Yeah,
Dom.
for sure, man. Thank you.
And I'm glad you planted the seed, and I'm glad everything is growing the way that it is. So
Yeah, absolutely.
let's just keep going forward. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, bro.